I welcome everybody today. Um, and I will start with my people's greeting. Ekabo means welcome, a Yoruba greeting commonly used to greet someone arriving home. From Here to There is the second volume of African Migration Report Poetry Anthology series, organized by Forced Migration and the Arts in collaboration with CivicLeicester and Regularize. The African Migration Reports Poetry Anthology series draws inspiration from the second edition of the African Migration Report, jointly published by the African Union Commission and the International Organization for Migration in March 2024. The Poetry Anthology series differs from the report in that, through poetry, it explores multifaceted narratives capturing personal, familial, community, national, and international histories, experiences, hopes, dreams, and aspirations related to African and African diasporic migration. I am Omobola Osamor, and I edited this beautiful anthology with Nandi Jola. From Here to There is a testimony of what we can do together. In walking, we are building roads. In talking, we are building bridges. In writing, we are building communities, sparking ongoing debates, and adding coal to forgotten fires. We are pleased to share experiences crystallized in poems that make up this anthology. We are with Oluwaseyi Adebola on the beautiful journey as they long for a place that is both beautiful and obscure, as an eagle longs for the sky. We travel the tempestuous waters of Yasmin S. Brown's What is Africa? And Abiola Agbaje's Jewels Lost at Sea. We are witnesses and victims of the horrors of war in Rina M. Aluri's Port Harcourt, lost in Octavia McBride Hahibi's Preparation for the Voyage to Lampedusa, and are the Nameless Corpse Eavesdropping by Dres Amjad. We are the pain of racism in Zita Holborn's Go Back to Where You Came From, and are the skin of the victim of tribalism by Samuel Julius Abakuk Cargo. We are the migrants and refugees in Monica Monalichi's delivery service, Leonora Massini's Tolina, and the plundered in Jenny Mitchell's Looking at Benny Bronzes. We are the beneficiaries of our ancestors' libations in Zan V. John's Covered by Prayer. In Remind Mugwawababi's Africa's Children, on our shoulders, we carry the past and the present. In our eyes, we carry the future. For this gathering is a gathering of kindred folks, connected by one heart, a heart that did not skip a beat on our readings on Zoom, a heart that dodged the challenges of different time zones, the challenges of power, of rising before dawn against the backdrop of everyday life, a heart pining for home. To all the 63 poets who are featured in this anthology, your work is a testament to our longing for lives lost, for a past never forgotten, and a future that is not desolate. You matter. Our siblings matter. Their stories are intertwined in ours like the rich threads of Ashoke, keeping us warm. We will keep telling it again and again. I have the pleasure of co-hosting this beautiful event with two beautiful personalities, Zainab, Hassan, and Francis Muzofa. I will introduce them briefly, and then I will read 3 poems, and then I will leave all of us in their hands. Zainab is a poet, writer, and human rights and gender equity activist. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is the first African American poet to receive the National Book Award. She is ethnic Somali and female poet featured in the Library of Congress African Poet and Writers event. Francis is a Zimbabwean poet whose works have been produced in different platforms locally and internationally. His works focuses on allegory, satire, and he's a very, very lovely fellow. Listen to his poetry. I will go forward and read briefly 3 poems that were featured in the anthology. Tomorrow on today's plate. Black chugs behind the Keked Napep, erupting volcanoes burn our throats, eyes and nostrils, joining ranks with emissions from industrial cigarettes, a murder of crows, countering libations, writing our obituaries. They sign referendum after referendum, while poison ink our veins, our bones become glass and skin parchment paper. Crematorium eating tomorrow on today's plate. My second poem is titled You Threw Yourself Away. Now, this poem was birthed from the sense of horror I experienced after reading a post online of 3 young African brothers who drowned in the Mediterranean Sea trying to cross to Europe. You threw yourself away. Hope is a hatchling cracking through sand, abandoning its nest. Hope is a pebble skimming across a still pond. Hope is a minnow gasping for food. Hope is a wolf howling at the moon. Hope leaves a bed of broken shells. To quell a need it knows well. Cast your shadow on the blue sea, anchor thighs straddling the deep. Nets cast forth, mouth Fuji dancing, praying for fish, claiming what the galaxy promises, oysters in your eyes. An eagle halts the hatchling stream. The pebble sinks into the deep. The minnow swallows the hook. A bullet halts the wolf song. Anchor thighs straddling the deep, you threw yourself away. Nests cast forth, praying for fish, you threw yourself away. Hoping for what the galaxy promises, you threw yourself away. Oysters in your eyes. I leave you all in the able hands of Francis Muzofa. Thank you.
Thank you, Osamor. That was a brilliant poem. I like the last one. You threw yourself away. Since we are so many, I won't waste much of the time. I'm honored to co-host this special occasion to honor our stupendous book, which I've been looking at the numbers on Amazon. I'm really impressed. We did a great job. We must clap our hands for ourselves. In my culture, there is a proverb which says, literally it means one man cannot embrace the angel. So it's because of all of us we are here today. Without talking too much, I'll read, I have 2 poems, but I like the longer one more than the other. So I'll read the first one first, then I'll move on to the other, depending on the time. I will start by explaining. The poem is called the Serengeti Gazelles. Serengeti Gazelles, the title itself is a metaphor. A metaphor meaning Serengeti Gazelles is a park, a game park that you find in Tanzania, and it is where the greatest migration of animals do take place. So I was equating the great migration of animals to us humans, especially Africa. So in Serengeti, I was referring to Africa. In gazelles, I was referring to the citizens of Africa. So please enjoy the poem. Clamped in a vice, pressured in a pressure cooker, hammered into destruction. This is our reality. This is our tragedy. This is our award. This is our reward, our inheritance for being born in Africa. Political destitutes, economic slaves, fatherless kids, most Africans are. They hustle, they bustle, they tussle in pain, all in vain. Many men perish at sea. They become shark relish at sea. Like tinned sardines, they are pegged in canoes and paddled towards the darker, greener grass that Europe and America portray. Even the ocean is puzzled by the audacity to attack the audacious ocean with a mere canoe. Sadly, only a couple make it to heaven. Those who finally land live on borrowed lands. They are not embraced by the system, they're embarrassed by the system. Their complexion and accent is their waist traitor. They have to constantly dodge the immigration arrows that are fired at every turn. To meet ends, many hands are needed. At least 4 jobs have to be juggled. A kick in the loins, a blow to their health. Their health suffer both physically and emotionally. Such is the cursed lives of the children of the jungle. Broken families, broken cultures, broken virtues, broken dreams, broken pockets, broken lives, self-esteem, steamed out. Who is to blame for the lame sheep? Is it our politicians? Is it our colonial masters? Is it our ignorance? Is it our arrogance? Is it our gods or our God? We are in a steel furnace. We are wood in a kiln. We are in hell where hailstorm rain, as the devil's reign, fox in hand. The economic graph is very skewed. The political abacus is one-sided. As the pride of lions grow and roar, the head of gazelles are body and number thin. Please terrorize them. Fleeing from predators is routine. This is the fate of gazelles in the Serengeti. Grief and sorrow is their inherited surname and totem. Thank you. And the other poem is called Old, Lonely, Homeless. This poem is closer to home. It's talking about migrants who move from the region within SADC, going into South Africa specifically. Please enjoy. I left like I was going to the shops. I thought it was just gonna be 2 minutes, 4 seconds. A typical sprinter's race. Unless it became a marathon on 2 fronts. A long illegal stay, foreigner. A long laborious shopping trip. Ashes of gray hair tell time with precision. For when I arrived, The grass on my head was blue-black. Now snow has invaded the black land. My energy levels didn't require energy drinks. My eyesight was flashlights. My muscles were cranes for hire. My brain was a huge processing plant. Now it's a totally different me, a complete opposite of the former. Time has flown with all. I have nothing. No documents, no home, no family, no future, no wealth, no health. I'm just a spent fly in a refrigerator. Back home, I'm a villain. Here, I'm just a sick dog in the neighbor's yard. The reason I left has not been solved yet. Should I fly to heaven? Should I just land here on earth? If I die here, will they bury me? Will my ancestors accept me? Looks like I'm just a carcass awaiting the vulture's big beak. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Today is, as you know, is Human Rights Day, and we are celebrating for that, even though there are a lot going on in this world, especially in, many parts of Africa and parts of the world, in the Middle East and elsewhere. But I just want to say thank you, all of you who have joined us for the celebration this evening, for the launch of From Here to There. I hope you will enjoy the book. I'll start with my first poem. It's called A Dreadful Day. This poem is a true story about my nephew, Abdulaziz Mohammed, nicknamed Sheena Tolbert, and his companions who have been missing since January 2003 in a boat ride from Libya to Italy. And I'm dedicating this to also all the people who died in search of safety and better lives, and thousands of Africans who are still suffering and trying to cross and take very difficult journeys. So I'll start my poem. It's called A Dreadful Day. I got a call. My nephew is missing. His boat left Libya for Italy's shore, but there is no sign of it. My heart turned cold. What boat? I asked, my mind in flight. Why wasn't I told he was going to ride a boat? Had I known, I would not have begged him. I would have begged him to stay, not risk the tide. Last call from my nephew started playing in my mind. Edo, I got a line. A travel deal, you see, from Cairo to Libya, then to Europe. Just send me some money. I'll do the rest. I said, no problem, my nephew. So many times, like a broken recorder, my brain kept replaying his words. Edo, I got a line. Edo, I got a deal. If only I knew the deal was with smugglers, a line to an overcrowded boat, sailing into tidal waves high and deadly. If only I knew. This deal I paid for would lead you nowhere. It would be a line to my lifelong guilt. If only I could see you. If only I could know your fate. If only you could know my pain. If only the sea could speak and share stories and secrets of Tahrir, lost in waves of despair. If only the pregnancy could deliver you, your boat, and your companions. After 22 years, by any chance, are you alive? After that dreadful day, when we learned of your loss, In the middle of so many nights, I write to tame the pain, the war, the loss. The pain won't end. Yet poems come like a falling rain. They fill my nights and haunt my days. Words that won't just fade away. Words. Words that won't just fade away. Words. Thank you. Thank you. That is my first poem. There were two words that are not English. One is Edo, meaning aunt, and the second is Tahrib. Tahrib is originally an Arabic word meaning smuggling, which has been adapted into the Somali languages and is mainly associated with illicit migration and activities such as smuggling and human trafficking. So those two words, now you know, if you didn't know before. So I'll read my second poem. It's called Breath of Identity. And this one was inspired by, I'm sure many of you know what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after the police officers killed George Floyd, which there was a lot of, I think it was a movement across the world, literally. Many parts of the world has done a lot of demonstrations about police brutalities and so on. And I kept thinking about what if I was the one who was stopped and I'm not as strong as him, what would happen? So this point came to me. Black, woman, Somali, Muslim, African, immigrant, Black American, woman of color, Somali American, Somali diaspora, Muslim American, Muslim immigrant, African immigrant, African American, African diaspora, Pan-African philanthropist. I can breathe. Profiling, racism, Islamophobia, discrimination, injustice. 17 lives, 17 traits, 17 identities, 17 anti-racism fueling oxygen tanks. I can breathe. Cannot be seen, the wind, moving at the speed of light, a cyclone engulfing. I can breathe. Cannot lay your hands on me, a fire, flames ablaze, hot volcanic eruption. I can breathe. Cannot put your knee on my neck, a fluid, water flowing with motion, dispersing into freedom. I can breathe. Cannot hear me, a light, shining sunlight, stars of the heavenly bodies. I can breathe. Cannot be moved or removed, the earth, grounded in soil, firmly anchored. I can breathe. Cannot be punched or beaten, a rock, strong and firm, pillar of unwavering strength. I can breathe. Humbleness and kindness, humanity, love and peace embodied, a catalyst for change. I can breathe. Rooted and centered, resilient African immigrant woman, with ease and graceful strength. I can breathe. I can breathe. Thank you. Back to you, Frances. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. That was brilliant. Are we going to have our next participant, or are we going to have a bit of a discussion?
Thank you, Francis. If we have Jim Aitken, is Jim Aitken available? Hi, Jim. Welcome, Jim. Jim will be reading a beautiful poem. In, 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 Nkuti looks back from here to there. Go ahead, Jim.
I was struggling to read that word as well. How do you read that?
Well, I think I did a good job. What do you think, Jim?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Good,
We can
good.
hear you now.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to looking at the book. I've seen it online and it looks fantastic. It's a very powerful book and exactly what we need. So my poem, I'm not black, I'm not African, but I'm a human being just like everyone else. And I just want to show my solidarity with everyone else, especially the migrants and anyone who's being discriminated against because of their color or their religion. I'm on your side. So it's a poem of solidarity. And I got the idea from a wonderful human being called Nshuti Gatwa from Rwanda. And I wanted to write a poem not of misery, not of horror, although there is some horror in it, but I wanted to write an African migration success story. And Nshuti Gatwa is that success story. So this is the poem. I've called it Nshuti Looks Back. I'm told that in Rwanda, NCUTI is pronounced sh. So that's why I'm calling it Nshuti. Or maybe I should be calling it Nkuti, I don't know. So he looks back. Of course, some people ask me about being born in Rwanda and about the Hutus and the Tutsis, once they know I come from here. I tell them little, for I was little at the time, a toddler of a few years. We fled the genocide and came to Scotland, first to Edinburgh and then over to Fife. We fled genocide and found racism. My mother told me, get on with it. And I did. And they grew to love me, just as I always knew they would. At the Royal Conservatoire in Glasgow, studying there, I soon discovered that the Hutus and Tutsis met their match, with fans of Rangers and fans of Celtic. I graduated in acting and headed to Dundee, to the Dundee Rep Theatre. 3 strangers attacked me once and broke my jaw. Yes, I got on with it and got a titanium jaw instead. I don't want to boast, but I have performed at the Globe, starred in Sex Education and Barbie, and have just become the 14th Doctor Who, the 4th Scottish Doctor to date. And later, this year, I will perform at the National Theatre as Algernon Moncrief in Oscar Wilde's great play. Not at all bad for a lad from Nyarugenge, Kigali, and they are also proud of me back home there. Yes, I am an African migration success story, and a success story for Scotland as well. All I have ever wanted is to be happy inside my beautiful black skin. Thank you all.
That was amazing, Jim. That was amazing.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I read it myself, but then when you read it, I got it.
Is Antje Bothin on?
Yeah,
Antje?
I'm here.
Okay, hello, Antje. Antje will be reading her beautiful poem, Nighttime. Welcome, Antje.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Antje. I'm based in Scotland in the UK. I'm a published author and poet, and I'm going to be reading my poem Nighttime. Nighttime. Experiences of bright nights, loud and scary. Danger in the air. Children fully awake. Another noise far away, bringing death to poor souls. Fire in the skies. Will it ever end? Mankind doesn't learn from past mistakes. Memories of dark nights, peaceful and clear. Moths in the air and families sleeping. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Angie. Beautiful. Your voice is very melodious and it's beautiful to listen to. Not that everybody else's voice isn't beautiful. Zainab, your voice is beautiful too. And Francis. But there's just something about Angie's voice. It's so soothing. The next person we're going to have, and then we're going to have a talk, is the lovely Zan V. Johns. And she's going to be reading her beautiful poem, Covered by Prayer.
Thank you so very much. I'm almost speechless hearing your expressions. I'm equally humble and honored to be in your company. Kudos to our fabulous editors. I believe this book is going to be great, or is great, and I'm proud to be included. My poem, Covered by Prayer, was inspired by a call for submissions from the Garden of Neuro Institute for an anthology titled A Safe and Brave Space. I wrote this poem as I felt the prayers of my ancestors. I thought about truth. This poem features the concept of truth, foundation, and empowerment. I'm honored to share it. Covered by Prayer. When darkness looms, I retreat within my soul. I am brave because I know what covers me. I'm covered by the prayers of my ancestors. Prayers from Africa's Republic of Cameroon. Prayers from the bottom of ships, vessels that drown dreams and freedom in the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean. I'm covered by their incessant prayers for survival and their woeful prayers for home. I am covered by the prayers of strong, tortured men, the men who landed in darkness, tormented, prayers that cleanse their soiled, battered bodies, prayers that replenished their broken spirits, prayers that relinquished their royalty, prayers that preserved their regal essence, prayers that calmed unspeakable anguish, prayers that caused them to love despite peril. I follow the light of my resilient people who prayed for me through centuries of hell. I'm covered by the prayers that brought us through, prayers that buoyed us to rise above, prayers that protect me when the outside looms dark. End of piece. Thank you.
That was brilliant. A voice again to note, a very, very melodious voice.
Thank you so much.
Very beautiful.
I remember Zan V from last year.
The reading.
Yeah, you know, at one of them we had a session like this, and at one of them the session got really, really heavy
Yes.
because we were talking a lot about death, about how migrants or African migrants, people, traveling across the Sahara, also the violence that refugees were meeting on borders in Tunisia, Algeria, the Mediterranean, Libya, Lampedusa, uh, the camps in France, the human zoos in France, how uh, African and Asian refugees are drowning in the English Channel, how those who survive and make it to Britain, some of them are ending up in prison for crossing the English Channel. And once upon a time, Britain was was the leading slave trader in the world, and France was the third. And then fast forward to 2025, Britain and France are once again turning people into commodities with deals like the one in, one out deal that they've got with France. So that session got really, really heavy. And Zan's poem lifted us out of that heaviness.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for that, Zan.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for selecting my poem. It goes deep for me. Even when I read the words, I feel the prayer, I feel the pain, but moreover, I feel the hope and empowerment. So thank you.
We're going to break for conversation because we've done 4 so far, and give everybody an opportunity to discuss briefly, and then we'll continue with other poets. Other poets will be given an opportunity to read their work. Hopefully, I think by then I hope Nandi will be available.
Can I talk?
You own the floor, Francis.
I'll move my head a little bit. Which side? This side. Can you see something?
We see you, Francis. We see you.
I don't want you to see something on my side, on my.
You can see the poster. The book is right behind him.
Okay, that's what I wanted you.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted.
The book is right behind Francis.
I wanted to see you to see the poster. You'll pardon me. I will talk about the title of our anthology, and I read that poem from here today by I'm forgetting his name, but I read the poem and I liked it so much, and I liked the title so much. It reminded me of a poem that I wrote, which is called Harare by Bus. But we won't talk about that. I'll talk about the poem. For me, what that poem means. What that poem means is the envy that we feel when we see people, especially migrants, going to Europe, if it's regional, going to SA, going to whatever country they are going to, and you are stuck at home, either because you don't have money to travel, either because you don't have resources, or something doesn't just permit you. Yet this guy is always going from here to there, Europe, Africa, China, And this guy is just sitting there and saying, "You are always going." In my mind, I was saying, when will we also go? But having said that, it is not always going that is fruitful. Migration can go terribly wrong. It can also go very good. If I am to quote Aitken's poem, where the guy from Rwanda made it. So it's a very two-sided coin that can flip on its head anytime. That's what I just wanted to say for now.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you. Does anyone want to say anything? Something?
May I, the migration is not always voluntary. So we in the US, Black Americans, African Americans are here, many because of the involuntary migration. I'm glad that Francis talked about the book cover. I think it's a beautiful cover. The title is very touching. I think about it and think our anthology is from there to here, from here to there. And I think of the reverse. It's kind of interesting to me. I like it. I'm intrigued. The cover itself, the picture, I wondered, what location is that, or was that a random selection?
I think it's an island in Tanzania. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to find the artist, but I can't find him.
It's beautiful. I can't wait to hold the book, and I cannot wait to read. I'm very beyond impressed by what I've heard today. The expressions are so powerful. I'm still hearing the words. I love the recitations. The poem, You Throw Yourself Away, I think of during the involuntary migration, the people who went overboard voluntarily to escape the peril and enslavement. There's power in that, for some who threw themselves away. So it goes deep for me. Thank you for sharing that poem. I love it.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Just an idea. No, it's not an idea. It's a fact. When we talk about migrations today, it actually has nothing remotely to do with the scale of what the previous speaker spoke about, the involuntary migrations, the forced migrations created by the British Empire over hundreds of years. And even at the end of slavery in 1833, people from India were offered the opportunity to become what was known as indentured slaves. And they were taken from India to Guyana, to Trinidad and Tobago. They're taken to Mauritius, taken to Fiji, to Samoa, and parts of Africa. And this was organized, forced migration by the British Empire after slavery. I mean, I think it's also worth pointing out that the British also created indentured slavery for Scots and for the Irish since the days of Oliver Cromwell. It gets no mention at all. These were white slaves. They'd maybe spend 6, 7 years as slaves. They could then be free. They were treated differently because they were white, but they were slaves. It was forced labor. Now, that was all forced migration. America, this horrific land, was built on the genocide of the indigenous populations and then slavery. And now this is a land that is spreading this hate against migrants around the world. And there's plenty of followers here in Britain and in the rest of Europe, with no reference whatsoever to their previous empires. And there's a terrible lack politically with our politicians, with our education system, that refuses, doggedly refuses, to teach our children about the empire. And it's quite scandalous. This whole notion of rule Britannia comes from empire. The national anthem is an imperialist song. And there's no understanding of this. And yet these people can be won for the most appalling racism and hatreds precisely because their history has never been taught to them. Every school child in the whole of the UK, all they get taught is the war, the war, the war. Nothing to do with empire. Maybe a little bit, a little unit here and there about transatlantic slavery. So history is so important. It is so important. It has to be taught. It has to be understood. And I think poetry is a good medium for that. A very good medium for that. And that's another reason I look forward to seeing the book when it comes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm labelled here as Martin Leyland, but I'm actually M. Chambers. So I'm in the book with a couple of poems. And one of them is very much about history and Africans through history and the contribution they've made right across the centuries to so many civilizations and to so many peoples. And it does annoy me that people don't really know that. They don't really know the civilizations that were in Africa. I should perhaps confess, I was an archaeologist for most of my life, but that's the direction I come from. And something that you may not also know is some recent work in England on Anglo-Saxon cemeteries. Now, Anglo-Saxon, a lot of these people who wave flags would probably say, oh, that's as English as you can get. Well, these Anglo-Saxon cemeteries, 2 bodies were analysed, and both of them had African grandparents. This is in the 7th century. One body, I think in East Anglia, had Yoruba grandparents, and the other, which was in Hampshire, had Hemba grandparents. So the African gene has been there in England from the very, very first. So when people say, oh, you know, I'm so proud to be English, well, you're all sorts of things. You're not just English. You're African and you're Norse and you're Viking and you're so many things. So all of us carry that African gene within us. And I just wish more people would recognize that. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a question for Zainab. Her poem, Dreadful Day, is it based on a true story or?
Yes, it is a true story. I think in the beginning, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you faintly.
Yeah, in the beginning, I mentioned that it is a true story about my nephew, who at the time that when he was calling me, he was in Egypt, and he said that he's going to travel to Europe, and he found mainly a what he called a deal, a travel deal, and he needed money. So we sent the money, and then what I didn't know, as the poem actually indicated, is that he was going to take a boat from Libya heading to Italy. So the whole boat, and it was from what the history I've been taught us is that those boats are overcrowded. I think over 100 young people have taken that boat, and the boat and everybody who was in it, including my nephew, are still missing. The boat wasn't never found, nor, all the people who were on it, including my nephew, whether, dead or alive. So they are still missing, the whole boat and everybody. This is still missing. So yes, it is a true story. And it's still happening. I mean, that was back in 2003, but still, a lot of young people are taking that deadly, journey, to travel, looking for better lives, or, running away from war and disaster and so on. So yeah, it's still ongoing, and it's very, very painful journey. And it's even getting worse, because now, before, at least when they get there, many countries used to accept refugees, but now it's getting even harder to accept them into Europe and other places. And we know what's going on in the United States currently, where even people who are permanent residents are being, mainly arrested, and some legal people have been deported, and there is horrible things going on in the United States, and it's very, very painful, really, what this administration is currently doing to refugees and immigrants, especially people of color. So it's from here to there, but then what happens there is also getting worse than ever before. So I think I'm gonna stop there. Maybe we should continue. I don't know how many, maybe at least 4 or 5 people left. So we need to kind of move on. We don't have a whole lot of time left. So yeah. So should we continue? Are you gonna continue, Francis, or?
I think you are right.
On Zainab's story, which is, as she said, basically it's an ongoing story. It's still up to date, because I know probably we share the same, background. So that's why I can say that the pain is still there, especially with the youngsters and migrating from their home country, trying to get a better life, basically. But whenever they just go to the sea, to the desert, all of these places, they just encounter dangers that no one actually ever seen. But we hear it daily. Maybe like it was a couple of months ago that I heard a neighbor of us crying her child, basically, because he was just maybe a teenager, maybe 15, 16 years old, and he left all of a sudden. And we just hear that basically he's somewhere that no one knows of, and they need to send money. So it is something that happens every single day, and then at times we can't even help with, especially with our nation. The Somali community has been very well known because of the history of wars and the conflict that was ongoing in our countries, that people have suffered a lot and still are suffering. And even people who are settled, and basically that we are not now in a state of war, but we can see basically the effects in people's minds. I'm a counselor basically and a mental health therapist. So I can see when I, counsel people, the effects of migration, forced migration, displacement in their society. And it is quite painful. But we do try to encourage as well art and poetry as a healing way to express ourselves. And I think it's a really great way to let the pain out and share it among the people who can understand. So thank you all.
Thank you, Elly. I think we'll continue with.
Right. I think for the sake of time, looking at our time, let's have all the participants who have to read their poems. Then we'll discuss them at the end. We'll have ample time at the end. It will be unfair for some people not to be able to read their poems. So if they can read, if we have enough time left at the end, then we can discuss. So I think following Osamor's lineup, we can go that way.
Yes. Is Samuel Kagbo on? If Samuel isn't on, Anton?
Not yet.
Okay, Anton. Anton Krueger. Karuna. I saw Karuna. Karuna Mistry.
I'm here.
Karuna. The floor is all yours, Karuna.
I think Anton has just arrived, so if he wants to start.
I'm here.
Oh.
But it's very, very dark. It was a bit
Hello,
better
Anton.
before. Hi.
How are you? Welcome.
I'm just trying a different camera. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
And we can see you too.
Great. So I'm out here in the East Cape in South Africa, and it is a little bit of a strange setup, or it's a small university town. Maybe 80% of the town is informal economy, so it's a bit of a bubble with the university, and there's some very nice private schools and things like that. But then you have to take the 1.5-hour drive to the airport, and it's quite a divided world. And so this was something to do with the different degrees of what would you call it, access to travel, or being able to travel, or being able to be mobile, or to move around at all. Okay, let's go. It's called You're Always Going. You're always going, moving to the next event. You're in an Uber, bus, train, heading to catch a flight. Time hurls you onwards. You can never turn around. You can never go back. If you're reading this, you're unlikely to be homeless. Hard to relax on the run. Few pages turn, sleeping rough, or waiting for the truck with strange water from strangers. So you may not be one of the millions traversing the earth, searching for food, roof, refuge, relief. Your village may not have been burnt, your children aren't hurt, no dust on your shoes. Perhaps you're reading this on your ride to the airport, windows up and aircon on, smooth electronica pulsing. Maybe you're catching a flight to Beijing, ticket in your phone for that metal bird to carry you over the deserts, unfathomable seas to that faraway continent. Present a brief paper to a room full of scholars, and you're coasting along at just the right temperature, looking forward to your first Bloody Mary and 720 channels of onboard. Alongside the sleek East Cape highway, game farms stretching out here and there, a complicated woodstone entrances, a luxury lodge. You wonder what lies deeper, away from the national roads. Remember the time you lost your way, shortcutting to East London, faltering onto raw poverty, discovering dusty settlements, deep dongas carved out of dirt, wide-eyed villagers surprised to see a car, one tap for 20 households. You're not going anywhere. But you're always going, moving to the next event, in an Uber, bus, train, heading to catch a flight. Time hurls you onwards. You can never turn around. You can never go back. Thank you.
You will have to pardon me. This is the poem that I wanted. I quoted the wrong poem. This is the poem that I wanted. You are always going.
You're always going. This was the poem you were referring to earlier.
Always staying.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Now we are going to call Karuna Mistry, and he's going to read The Isthmus That Splits Us. Welcome, Karuna.
Thank
I
you.
hope I didn't misspell your name.
Yes. Thank you. It's Karuna Mistry. So just want to say I live in England, and my parents are actually migrants from India, moved to this country when they were fairly young. I'm a published author. I've got 2 books, and with my latest book, I deal with race, ethnicity, and a lot more. I'm also a biologist, and I see life differently. And so this first poem is going to explore a little bit of that and how it unites all of us. And as Zainab said, the title is called The Isthmus. Hold on, get it. The Isthmus That Splits Us. Now, an isthmus, if you don't know already, is a thin strip of land surrounded by sea. So it's a bit like a peninsula, except the land continues. So it connects 2 large areas of land. So here goes. By bare feet, we move through territory, wilderness, and harsh terrain, carrying children on our backs, weapons and possessions in hand, propelled by survival's obsession. The isthmus that splits 2 lands allows us to spill our contents onto new continent, free to roam and leave old roots to rest in the arid red soils behind. We hunt, forage, kill, salvage, use, and upskill. Survival depends on wit, and wit depends on will. We care for the injured and weak, carry you in our women. Their wombs warmly house the unmade words that we may scatter into the world. We are dependent as your descendants. Africanus, we live through you. So that was the first poem. If we have time, there is also a second poem. Just let me know. Do we have time for another?
I'm looking at the time.
I'm mute, sorry. And yeah, if it's short one, you can go ahead.
I think it's a little longer than the last one, so I'm happy to skip to give others some time.
Thank you. We're gonna come back to you if there is time left. I think we only
Sure.
have about 12 minutes, and we have a number of poets that need also to read. So I'm gonna call Ambrose Musiyiwa. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I knew
So
you were.
yeah. So the poem that I'm going to read is a short one. It's called St. George's Walks into a Pub. The poem, okay, so for the past 2 years, I've been looking at how flags are being deployed and are being used, and how these national symbols are being used as hate symbols. So this one, and also some of the characters that are being evoked, like people like St. George, who is a patron saint for many countries, including Ethiopia, including Palestine, including Lebanon, is being mobilized by the far right, by white supremacists. So this is called St. George's Walks into a Pub. St. George's, does lynch mobs reminds you of strange fruit swinging off southern trees, strange fish off small boats, marine food, fish and chips, St. George's, a pint. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. That's very nice and very sweet and short. We're gonna continue with our poets. Omobola, are you going to read more?
No. I've already read my poem. Karuna can read his.
Okay.
The second poem.
Okay.
Karuna, go for it.
Yeah, Karuna, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Right, the second poem is in modern life. It's called Perspectives, brackets, Home from Home. Part 1. A house is not a home, just brick as its bone. No TV or computer, barely any furniture. Mold in the bathroom, dust in the bedroom. Replace the wallpaper with last month's newspaper. Staring at blank walls when no one calls. Pay as you go, paying top up too slow. Not a soul in the house except for a mouse. When nobody's around to hear a living sound. Switch the central heating or pay for eating. Decide. Make ends meet in this filthy old street. Suicide. Part 2. Try to be hopeful and not give up when life is proving more than tough. Meant to search the meaning of life when life is not filled with strife. Find me some upliftment. Grant me that fulfillment. Back home, friends and family made for a community. Meals were certainly better when people ate together. Here, to lift one's spirit is by no means an easy ticket. Different weather, cuisine, and culture, but a new life to find by shifting my mind. Overcome my nerve and selflessly serve society. Do not expect and perhaps earn respect, dignity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really very beautiful poem. Now I'm going to call Elly Ray. Please welcome you to reading The Search, right?
This poem, the first poem called The Search. Basically, it's about the idea of searching for home, because since I was a child, we've been moving from one place to another, and every place we wanted to belong, especially as a kid. And then, no matter how nice the place is, at times we will face some racism, some displacement. So yeah, let me read it. The Search. A traveler I was born to be, a foreigner to every land. Since childhood, I looked tirelessly for a place to call home, a place to lay my tired soul. I called many places home, but a foreigner they called me instead, and I was faced with rejection every time I called a distant land mine. The same way I rejected my land, the same way I said I am better than this. So I kept looking and my agony grew bigger. And I found myself tired of embracing what denies me the embrace. I found myself trapped in a land that needs me the most, but I like it the least. So I started looking for me within the wreckage of a place I ought to accept. And I learned ultimate love the hard way. This is the first one. Do we have time to read the second?
Yes, please go ahead. I hope it's not too long. I think we still have a few minutes. Yeah.
A bit longer, but not that long. This one calls Homeland Stay. In a land far away, where cultures collide, there lived a girl with her soul untied, her first language foreign to her peers, her roots a mystery, a puzzle indeed. Raised in a different land, she felt out of place, yearning for connection, a familiar space. Deep in her heart, a longing unfolds, homesickness in her own home evolves. Oh, she's alone, denying her call, rejecting her heritage, afraid to stand tall. Lost in the shadows of doubt and despair, dwelling in the past, burdens to the bare. In a third world zone, trapped, she questions her fate. Why me, she weeps, seeking an escape. But within her tears a string defending against the malaise, a fire within her refusing to fade. She fought through the darkness, each thought so bleak, resilient and determined her spirit did speak. She shrugged off criticism and the scorns that came, for she knew her worth, and it fueled her flame. Amidst the wreckage of hope she sought to see the art and beauty that lie beyond the rim. Oh, in the she discovered her calling's grace. To show her land's beauty as accepting her place, embracing her heritage, finally finding her peace. She painted landscapes with words of pride, unveiling her culture. The colors so bright, her purpose now clear, she stood strong, a beacon of inspiration right where she belonged. So let's talk about this girl. Her journey is so profound, from denial to accepting her growth and bound. Storyteller, an ambassador of her own. She showed the world the beauty she had known. So let her tale inspire, let her spirit ignite in the depths of uncertainty. Find your own light, for within the strait there is a purpose to find. Unlike the girl, let your purpose unwind. Thank you all. Basically, I was just gonna comment on these poems a bit. This is more about when I came back home and I was struggling how to fit and how to find my place in a place that I wasn't familiar with and how to help my community. So yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what a lot of young women of African and African, diaspora, whether they were even born there or they were taken there as children. I mean, and many other immigrants and refugees, I mean, deal with all these issues, especially people of color. So I think, is Samuel here?
Samuel didn't make it.
Huh?
He didn't make it. He didn't manage to join us.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to open for a little bit of a discussion. We have a little bit more time. Do you want to read your second point, Ambrose?
If mine is a bit long, so it's entirely up to you. If you think I should read it, I can.
Yeah,
I've
go
always,
ahead. We
I've
have
always wanted you to read that poem. I wanted to hear you read it.
Okay. So my second poem is okay. Let me retrieve it. My second poem is called There Will Always Be One More Thing. Now with this poem, I think you also need to see it for it to make sense. So I will share my screen. Right. So this is, there will always be one more thing. There will always be one more thing comes from a talk that Toni Morrison gave in 1975, where she said, the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Somebody says you have no language and you spent 20 years proving that you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly, so you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Somebody says you have no art, so you dredge that up. Somebody says you have no kingdoms, so you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. A nobleman, a man of God, his name was George. He confessed his belief in the one true God. Patron saint of Aragon, Catalonia, and England. Patron saint of Georgia, Germany, and Greece. Patron saint of Lithuania, Moscow, and Portugal. Patron saint of Romania and Serbia. His name was George. He confessed his belief in the one true God. A nobleman, a man of God. His name was George. Somebody says Europe can't cope, simply can't cope with African and Asian refugees. Would be overrun, patron saint of archers. It would be too much, patron saint of cavalry and cavalrymen. Would be ruined, patron saint of scouts and soldiers. Would be overwhelmed, patron saint of riders and settlers. Would be tainted, patron saint of fencers and field workers. Would be diluted, a nobleman, a man of God. His name was George. Patron saint of Ethiopia, Lebanon, Palestine, and Syria. Somebody says African and Asian men, women, and children fleeing war, conflict, persecution, climate change, extreme poverty, violence, do so illegally. His name was George. He confessed his belief in the one true God. He was afflicted with many evils, but his spirit was not broken. Somebody says African and Asian refugees, men, women, and children can't possibly be human, can only be illegal, criminal, for surviving deserts, for surviving border zones, deserts, seas, and the jungle, can't be human, can only be small boats, for swimming the moat and scaling the fortress, can't be human, for wanting to feel safe and for wanting to live, breathe, dream, flourish, and prosper, simply cannot, can't be human. He was afflicted with many evils, but his spirit was not broken. He confessed his belief in the one true God, patron saint of Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, and Ethiopia. Somebody says Europe can't cope, simply can't cope with this invasion, with these numbers, these small boats, these non-humans, can't possibly do for African and Asian refugees what we did for Ukrainian refugees. Then when he had died, he rose again from the dead. He rose again from the dead and began at once to preach. Patron saint of Portugal, England, and Germany. Patron saint of Aragon, Catalonia, and Lithuania. Patron saint of Serbia, Romania, and Greece. Patron saint of Moscow and Georgia. A nobleman, a man of God. His name was George. Somebody says Europe is a garden built of freedom, economic prosperity, and social cohesion, an exception, built of beautiful things, intellectual life, and well-being. Yes, we've built a garden. Europe is a garden, and the rest of the world a jungle. Then, when he had died, he rose again from the dead. He rose again from the dead and began at once to preach. Patron saint of Moscow, Georgia, and Serbia. patron saint of Romania, Lithuania, and Greece, patron saint of Portugal, Aragon, and Catalonia, patron saint of England and Germany. Somebody says the jungle, by different ways and means, will invade us. He rose again from the dead. He rose again from the dead and began at once to preach. Protector against the plague, protector against leprosy, protector against venomous snakes. His name was George. He confessed his belief in the one true God, a noble man, a man of God. His name was George. Somebody says African and Asian men, women, and children drowning 4 times simply cannot be human. Simply can't be human. Can only be illegal, warehousable, transportable, tradable, fungible, units, swarms, waves, a flood, mere men tripping on fantasies of walking on land, sailing oceans on ship rudders, Icarus intent on disturbing 31-year-old Clapham, Southwest London software engineers Polish beer, manacled, straight-jacketed beds on chartered deportation flights, still bursting, throttling songs of freedom through manacled legs, torn ligaments, shattered spines, broken wings, broken necks, crushed chests, collapsed lungs. Nothing to see here, nothing to hear. Would you like something to eat, ma'am? Would you like something to drink? Fasten your seatbelts. Enjoy the onboard entertainment. One in, one out deal of single, fighting age, illegal, numbers, man, with no right to want our jobs, our women, our schools, our social housing, our NHS, hotels, homes, children. He rose again from the dead and began at once to preach. Patron saint of Ethiopia, patron saint of Lebanon, patron saint of Syria, patron saint of Palestine. Somebody says Britain must reduce the numbers, send the drones, send the ski jets, wave machines, and floating walls, send the Navy, send the Army, send MI5, MI6, James Bond, the police, the doctor, send Pippa, Pig, send the patriots, knights, and SAS, send the villagers and towners, send Rupert, Paddington, and Winnie, Todd too, round up, clear out, by any means, stop the invasion, bang up, string up, reduce, smash the foreign small boats, send back carcasses, throw back against the border, the sewer, the river, the sea, human zoos, concentration camps, death camps, killing fields, weapons development and testing grounds, organ harvesting fields, open air and for-profit containers, disused military barracks, offshore, out of sight, out of earshot, barges, Rwanda, Albania, Kosovo, fish and meat grinders, let them drown, tents, sends. These, O God, would this grant to St. George strength and constancy, preserve through his intercession our faith from wavering, because they are not, cannot be, can't be human, these numbers, these small boats, this invasion. Deflate the dinghies, the small boats, detritus, driftwood, these, because we can't cope, because Europe is a garden, because the rest of the world is a jungle, and the jungle wants to invade us. He rose again from the dead. He rose again from the dead and began at once to preach. And the sirens still with songs of freedom to thy treacherous coasts lure the displaced to these hard coasts. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Thank you very much. Now, these last 3 lines, wade in the water we day, wade in the water, children, wade in the water we day. It comes from a video by the musicals performing Wade in the Water. It's absolutely beautiful. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll find it. The song is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that long because we don't have, actually, we only have 1 minute, so we have to close without discussion. I'm not sure whether the Zoom is going to, maybe we can take a few minutes, but I'm not sure if the Zoom is going to stop or whether we could have a few minutes of discussion. It's all up to you, but it's
We can have a few minutes.
okay. So is anybody has any burning question for the poets who read their poems after the break? Please go ahead, and if any of the poets want to add a minute, taking 30 seconds or so to maybe explain or add something, please welcome. We're going to take 10 minutes max, and then we are going to close. Anyone have any questions or something?
How long did it take you to write that masterpiece, Ambrose? I'm just beyond moved by the brilliance of that poem.
Okay, so I've been thinking about these issues for a long time. For example, the first poem that I wrote on flags in England, I wrote it last year, and it was published in the Morning Star, and it's called Tomorrow Will Be Great Again. And it speaks to the fantasies that Donald Trump is peddling about making America great. Also speaks to the fantasies that the British establishment are peddling around global Britain. And then it's especially over the past 2 years, there have been the far right, racists, white supremacists, Islamophobes have been mobilizing against asylum seekers, and they've been staging protests outside hotels where asylum seekers are being warehoused in. Now, when you look at the visuals, you've got mobs of white people waving St. George's flags, harassing mainly black and brown people who are contained in substandard accommodation. The violence of it, to me, evoked lynch mobs. So it's something that I've been thinking about for a number of years.
Thanks for sharing it and sharing the visual. I wanted to tell you, when I was thinking about this meeting, I thought about gospel songs that connect us to our roots. And I'm from the segregated South part of the US, Louisiana. And I thought about 3 songs, and one of them was Wade in the Water. So when your last verse shared that, it just touched me deeply. So thank you. Congratulations on that piece.
Thank you. And it's also interesting that was it last month? There's in Leicester we've got Word, which is the longest running spoken word festival in England, in the UK. So I performed. There will always be one more thing there. And then one of the very interesting things that happened was the poet who was reading before me also gave a fragment from Wade in the Water.
Wade in the Water?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so powerful. This has been fabulous. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else before we close? Personally, I don't like running longer than it was intended to, but yeah, we said we can take 10 minutes, it's fine. Anyone else who has a question or want to add anything to the
I just wanted to add something, if I may, Zainab.
Sure.
It's for Ambrose. Ambrose talking about that rendition at the word. If you can ping it, if you can just add it so that everybody here can have they can appreciate. I mean, I've had the pleasure of watching it, but I thought that everybody here would like to watch that video. Ambrose, can you post it?
Okay, I will do. I will put it in the chat.
Yes, that's it from me.
Thank you so much. I am going to say, I mean, everybody who actually participated, I want to first thank the editors who really have done a great job for this beautiful anthology series. And I want to encourage everybody who is here and those who will listen to this video to actually be part of this and buy the book and yeah, and mainly share everywhere, and so many people will know about these anthologies. I mean, this is the second book about you know, an African migration report poetry anthology series, and many more hopefully will be on the way. And I want to thank everyone who participated and also acknowledge, I mean, today is the International Human Rights Day. And we just have to pray. I think, thank you, Zan Jones, for, you know, the prayer song. We need many more prayers in this world and what's happening everywhere, not only, you know, in Africa and in Asia and in people of color, but I think even, you know, when we look at what's happening in the so-called, you know, countries who are supposed to be protecting human rights, I think, and what's happening in the United States is quite alarming. So I just want to encourage everybody to share, to encourage people to actually buy this anthology series, and also hopefully there will be many more meetings, both online and hopefully in person, that we will put together and share with many more poems. But this is 101 poems. I mean, very powerful poems. So I just want to encourage everybody to be part of this of this movement of mainly about the anthology of African diaspora and migration, and all the people who not necessarily are not Africans or African diaspora, or, you know, mainly people from Pan-African heritage, but many other people who are actually joining and sharing stories of Africans and African diaspora. So I want to thank everybody. And Omobola, you want to add something before we close?
I think you've said it all, Zainab. It's wonderful, wonderful seeing you, all your beautiful faces, hearing your wonderful voices. We are separated by the oceans, but we are beating with one heart. And yeah, congratulations to everybody. It's our work. It's not one person's work. My people say when we join our hands together, then the hands are washed, you know, so we are doing a great job. And here's to more congregation, virtually, physically, and we've opened the door with Japa Fire, the first volume, second volume, From Here to There, and here's to many, many more collaborations across the Atlantic and Pacific and the Indian Oceans. And yes, thank you. Thank you all. Francis.
Hello. Hello.
Do you have anything to add, Francis?
I think you have said it all. If you give the ladies the floor, they will make sure they cover every ground. So I think you have emptied all. All I can say, I'm grateful, I'm thankful for this occasion. Like you said, let's spread the word. Let's continue the collaborations. And remember, today is Human Rights Day.
Yes.
Human rights is the mother of forced migration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambrose. Thank you, Zainab, Zan, Karuna, everybody. Jim, thank you.